Welcome to my podcast, The Happy Hacker with Ambition. It's Monday. It's after I've been out. Oh, I haven't got my whistle. Mind you, I'm not going to let you off the lead, am I? Because it's going out into the estate. I'm just getting Blueberry ready to take out for her walk. She's been out with me this morning. And then, I don't know if I said that Laura is off this week. Bad planning on my part, as I have a week of work for the rest of the week and into the weekend, so bad planning on my part. So I couldn't have a lesson with Justine because I couldn't do it today at a time I knew that would fit in with her. So Laura said she was going to go schooling at... Can you just get up here, Blueberry? There's a car coming. Good girl, just wait. At Limekiln on the arena eventing, which happened yesterday. Thank you. Which took place yesterday, but because they'd had all these... Lucy had a party. It was they went out the night before. It was all too much. Laura couldn't go this week to compete. So I went, yeah, I'll have a go. Because I thought it would be nice to have a go over the smaller jumps. I'm talking about 50 centimetres. I'm not talking about anything of any great purpose. What are you doing, Blueberry? I'm sniffing. This is how you walk with Blueberry. She comes out like 100 miles an hour. And then, as we proceed up the lane from home, we stop every couple of sniffs for a long sniff. So it's Blueberry's walk, so we do what Blueberry wants. So we had to adjust some of the jumps down for me because obviously they were jumping yesterday. I'd noticed on Ali's post that she'd put up about did they want to offer an alternative route to going through the water jump, and I thought, well, we'll go through it. I took Indy through it twice. So I was pleased with that. I also went round onto the little bank, and Laura went to me, "Are you going to go over the big bank?" I went, "No." So because that would mean I would be jumping the big bank. I'm not jumping in the big bank. But I went round the little side both ways. I jumped the last fence, which is number 12, which was show jump fence as you get with arena eventing. I jumped number 4. Laura built me a spread. I don't think I jumped that spread, actually. Bad me. She did make it narrower because she said it was a big spread. And I'm going, it didn't look too bad. You get me with my brave knickers on. I went over one of the sort of seat jump things. And the other one of that. And I jumped the tyres because I said to Laura, "Sure, I don't think you jumped the tyres yet." And I went, "No. No, they look quite high." But I had noticed that when they first, in the arena eventing before, in the lower classes, they do it so that you can see the pole between the tyres. I mean, the thing is, you're not looking at the jump anyway, are you? You're looking to the next jump. I also feel that I got my timing going first time I jumped. When I took Indy in to do the first of the little cross-country arena eventing jumps, she ran out. So I turned straight back round and we went straight into it, and she went, "Oh, obviously Mummy means this," and she flew it. And after that she just realised that I really wanted to go over them all. So she did really well, so I was really pleased with that. But I also, because when she did take it, that one, I did slip my reins because I didn't bend forward. After that, I was hopefully getting it better. And she was so good. She flew. Then we stopped. And it was good because Laura was schooling as well in her new bit. What are you doing? I don't know. Which is really lovely. Same make as all the bits that we've got. Same principle as well, but just giving her a little bit more breaks, I think, with ballet, so she can get her to collect and back and listen to her. because otherwise Bally goes 100 miles an hour. So, and she needs to, especially with a solid jump, you need to know that you're going to be sensible. So she jumped nicely. They schooled beautifully. It was lovely to watch. And Indy's standing there going, oh, I need a bit of a break. Because what I didn't tell you was when I went to catch Indy this morning, Indy was full of it. Really full of it. I mean, she was so naughty. She tried to double barrel me. And all I did was I dropped this schooling whip, the lunging whip, in the arena the other day because I picked it up and carried it in with me. I don't know why I did that when I'd finished schooling her. And I dropped it in her turnout field. And I thought, I mustn't forget to pick that up. Completely forgot to pick it up. Picked it up when I walked in, saw it there because it's actually Laura's and I shouldn't leave things lying around. And I wouldn't normally do that, so I was a bit horrified that I'd done that. And Indy just, for some reason, went completely bonkers, prancing around the field, snorting. I just stood there. Not that long ago, I would have said, 4 or 5 months ago, Laura would have shrugged her shoulders and come in and saved me. But she said I was just giving my pony a hug and watching you two and saying, she'll catch you in a minute. I did. And Indy was like, oh, so you're not unimpressed, oh, okay. And then she was like, oh, are we going somewhere? Are we going somewhere? So she loves it. She loads herself up into the trailer. She's really good. And off we went. And we had a really good time and it was really lovely. So now I'm catching up with Blueberry. Also my clip. It is bad. It's bad. But actually from a distance it doesn't look too bad. It's only when you get too close. Also I was sitting there and I said to Laura, I said, Forest Edge Tuesday evening show is on. I wonder if we could get to that because she's got the week off. And I'm working from home. So I thought, well, my hours are 9 till 5, so kind of think that's what's going to happen. And she said, oh, we could do. So I messaged Sam to see when the dates, when the closing is. And she's already done the timings. Not a lot of people in it at the moment. Which is good but bad because I'd want to do the 50 centimetre class. And we've also got to wait to hear from Dean whether he'll be back in time to take Lucy to her gymnastics. So I think it's probably on the back burner, but we both had a really good time today. We've got to sort the hay out in one of the stables so that we can get the pony in, which is Pixie, who loves to come in and has her own stable door, so she needs to come in. So we've got to sort that out. We thought we'd do that tomorrow. Well, it's going to rain tomorrow. We'll probably do that one day during the week. So I do have, as I said, I have an hour's break a day, which I don't get paid for, so you definitely take, or you work through and you leave an hour earlier. But when you're setting up stuff, you never know when you're going to get the phone call. So anyway, all I can say is that I went from being really down in the dumps yesterday, really down in the dumps, to feeling a lot happier. So that's a good Monday, and it's a beautiful day. Beautiful. Good morning and welcome to the Happy Hacker with Ambition. You find me mucking out actually stopped raining. It's just this minute stopped raining. It's a lot colder. I don't know if that's just me because I don't feel particularly great. I'm trying to find the other pocket. I haven't got any other pocket to put my phone in. Eek is staring into Indy's stable. She always tries to get in when I'm mucking out. Tia is in their side of the other yard of the stable. She's got her Derby House Dotty rug on. I need to check that's not leaked because that is a few years old now. Iki is still in her Premier Equine, and I've just put her Indy's Tempest 100 gram on her. I've just taken her out of her Swish rug, so she can go out because it was tipping it down when I got here, and it's cold. It was showing 3 degrees when I came from home, and it's 4 degrees down at the yard. So yeah, it's a little bit colder. So I'm just mucking around. Indy's so keen to get out onto that grass. She does not eat her breakfast. So her breakfast will become her tea when I bring her in later. Lovely Laura did my horses for me yesterday because I had a sudden onset headache, which then developed into quite a bad migraine, and I was flat out yesterday afternoon. I couldn't really see or do anything, so it was a bit pathetic. And I'd had such a productive morning because I was down and had done the horses early and had poo picked and had walked Blueberry and done the exercises. I'd really had a productive morning, got the dinner on early, in the slow cooker. I love my slow cooker. And I was really chuffed. And then I suddenly got this headache, and that was it. That was the end of it. So I didn't even get to ride. So I hate it when I don't get to ride. So I'm just doing this quick muck out here. This is my new bedding. And it's really good. I really like it. I like the fact that the weed just drops to the bottom. Indy definitely is laying down in it as well, which is good. She rolled in it first day, which is always a good sign. But it's quick to muck out, and then I just at the weekends what I'm doing, because they only came in earlier this week, about Wednesday I think it was. The weather was just atrocious, just wet, and I'm aware you don't want to do any damage to the fields when the horses are out in it all the time. I don't want to make the mud up this early in the season. So it was decided to bring them in, and it was a very good decision. Yesterday, night before last, Indy's eating a lot of grass, so she's not really eating all her hay. So that is a good saving. The girls aren't eating all their hay either. Where's my fork? What have I done with that? Left it outside, really helpful. So yeah, it's quite like it. So it's nice and tidy. It's easy to tidy up. It's easy to pick the poo out, and it's quite nice. What I did yesterday when I was walking Blueberry, I got my days wrong. Shows I wasn't feeling 100% when I set off. Hello, lovely. Hello. Hello. What are you doing? I'm supervising. Are you supervising? You look very wet. So I'll check your rug in a minute. When we were walking, I was just getting to the bit at the top, and I'd gone and got the shoot dates, and I'd said earlier on in my podcast, I think, that because it's a commercial shoot, they don't generally shoot on a Saturday, and they were shooting this Saturday, and they are shooting, I think, next Saturday as well. So I met a neighbour of ours. She was out riding. It was great, actually. Had a little chat. Julie has had they have quite a few youngsters, and they do a bit of pointing, and she's a really good huntswoman. She's just a good all-round rider. She's just quite, I've always seen her as being very brave. Her and her husband ride out a lot, and it's, and I saw her on a beautiful looking horse, and we stopped and had a quick chat, and she said to me that she found this horse very sharp, and she said she'd got to the stage that she had decided that he wasn't the one for her, and that she'd sent him away to be sold, really. And they'd said to her, he is quite sharp, but he's also very sweet. And they hadn't got anybody where she'd sent him that they thought would be suitable for him at this moment in time. So he'd come home, and she was riding him. She said to me also that she had lost, we started to talk about loss of nerve, losing your confidence. And she said she had no confidence now, which I found really, I was quite shocked actually, because I've always seen her getting on mad horses, and always on the estate I've seen her going around jumping all the big jumps, and so I was quite surprised. We didn't have much chance to find out, when she'd lost it, or what had happened, if there'd been an incident. And then she said what she found really difficult was going to try other horses. And now, she said, because you never know what you're getting on, and I regaled a story of a acquaintance of mine, and we went down to look at a horse in a yard, and she had quite restricted funds at the time. I don't think she has any more. And she was looking for, basically horses that nobody else really wanted. And the whole yard turned out to see her get on this horse, because nobody had ridden it for 2 years. And I remember saying at the time, let the owner get on. And the owner didn't want to get on. And I said, so why are you getting on? And she's a bit of a daredevil, this woman. And she said, well, she just might be a bad rider. I went, oh, there might be something wrong. Anyway, we didn't get the horse. But it is interesting, isn't it? So, I don't feel quite so bad now. And I said to her about, how I'd completely lost my nerve. And if it hadn't been, it's not wet. This is really good, because it just takes the wet to the bottom, and then you can literally just lift it out. And I would suspect that during a working week, if you were busy on this, it also strikes me as not being dusty. I dust my stables. During the winter I do it every week, which Laura always laughs at me about. But I just think it's a good idea to get your stables so they don't have any dust in. And we both said with our shavings, this is why we changed this year. We decided we wanted to change because we had both found that last year's bedding was quite dusty, and we didn't really want it to be like that. And we had decided, we've both come to the conclusion, we think that this winter's going to be quite a bad winter. So we just want to do that. I have just got my hay, one payment of hay left, one payment of my yearly rent left to give to Laura, and then I am done for that. So bedding, hay and rental for the year, tick. and then all I've got are the usual monthly outgoings. I don't know if anybody watches on TikTok, Riding with Ree. She keeps a note of expenses and horses, and they say how much do you actually spend on your horses. I find it quite horrifying. Different parts of the country, how much things are, and I think that livery yards and stuff like that, they're saying they're having to put their prices up because of the electricities and all the other bills have gone up, and I can understand that. But obviously that's Iki. Iki would dearly love to come into the stable until I put her in, and then she wants to come out. Why don't you go and push Tia out? Normally they stand in there together, but sometimes Tia just stands in the doorway, doesn't let Iki, and you can see it really annoys Iki. Right, let's just get this. Seems to be really quick to do this bed. I'm really quite chuffed. Found somebody different to follow on YouTube when I was browsing through YouTube when I was uploading stuff the other day. I found another rider who's been on for a while, another eventer. She's a 4-star rider actually. Found it really interesting when I was searching for something else to help me with learning and getting my riding a bit better, and I thought, I'll watch that as well. Found it a very entertaining YouTube, and when I get home I'll look it up and I'll add it into my comments as somebody else. She's got a fair few followers, I mean about 25k followers, so it's, you know, with 125, maybe 125, I don't know. So really worth looking, probably worth looking up. I just did this. There's a review of the World Horse Welfare Conference that was last week on the Horse and Hound podcast, and you can watch that on YouTube. I found it was interesting. I can understand why the topic was being discussed, and I can see it, but I think also people have to think when they're posting stuff what people outside the horsey community would take of it. So some of the epic falls that you get with people falling off horses, hanging round their necks, because I always sit there and think, gosh. Oh, Tia's out now. Hello, T. Are you checking on my, are you dry under there? Let me just check. I need to take my lovely warm glove off. Oh, I need to find, oh, you lovely and warm. And dry. I need to find some waterproof thermal gloves. At the moment I'm using some gardening gloves that I found, which is what I bought for bringing hay in this year. And of course I didn't do so much of that. It's just a pile of little bits of poo. Also, I found on YouTube yesterday the first episode of the All Stars. And considering I pay a subscription fee for that, I was slightly surprised that it's already available on YouTube. But interesting. And the first thing they did was they recorded an online dressage test, and it was judged by Carl Hest, the hair stuff, obviously, awesome. Very generous, I thought, with his marking. Lovely. With Rory Bremner was his writer. Now, you might sit there and think, why Rory Bremner? Rory Bremner's daughter is a dressage rider and doing fairly well. I mean, I don't think he knows. I don't know whether he was doing it to pretend that he didn't know much. I'm sure he knew more than he let on. And he was his writer. So, there we go. That's what they did, and it was filmed and doing quite well. And then they've done the typical stable inspection, and Tammy Hutton is, gosh, she's got such high standards. So it's there, and you've got Life on the Left Rein, Tina. She's talking to all of them as it progresses. So that was their first challenge, and then they get the first ridden challenge, I think, in the programme. I mean, but it's a knockout this year, so if you don't do too well, you get sent home. So there's only 4 of them in the final. You've been very helpful. I think it would have been better if I always forget to pick her feet out when I bring her back in. That's really bad, isn't it? But that's it. Quite chuffed with this. It's got a little bit of poo now to pick up on the outside, then a bit of sweeping, and yes, it's half a barrow, and I know that she went to bed fairly early yesterday. I think she was in at about, I think Laura put them in for me about 6, which was very sweet of her. She put hers in, and then she messaged me and she said, I'll put them in for you if you'd like me to, and I went, that is very kind. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Will I pass the Tammy Hutton test? I don't know. I might do. Not at the moment, because I've got my rug on the floor. I just changed. I put her out with a thicker rug on, so I wouldn't pass at the moment. But then I haven't finished yet, have I? So that is good. And my little lights are doing really well. So now what I've got to do is get a hay bar. I bought India hay bar, and it's so big. It's too big, and I realised as soon as I got it, and I tried to send it back. Do you remember the story of me saying about it? I tried to do it. Never heard any more from the people I bought it from, even though I've contacted them and said, look, it's too big. And they went, return it in the packaging provided. And I went, there was no packaging provided. Let's just get rid of that. So I've got a bit of hay that she's pulled out and decided isn't good enough, which is Indy's way. But I have to tell you that this year I'm getting a little bit tougher on this, because I wasted lovely hay last year. And if they were just, oh, I don't want that bit, and they just look at it and go, no, I'm not eating that bit. And I go, right, I'll take that out and get you fresh. And then I thought, why am I doing that? They would eat it if they're hungry. So I have got myself a little bit, you've got to get a little bit tougher, I think. Times are hard, times are difficult. You can't throw money around. I've got no work books. Let's just put this on. So I've got some string that I've got on the top that I can put Indy's rugs over. But I have to make sure they're really securely tucked over, because when she comes in and she's wet, she likes to dry her head on that, and sometimes she puts them on the mouth. Well, hello, little lady. Right, I've got my broom. Go and see what the girls have done there. And I'm doing the same for Reek and Tia as well. They've got some beautiful hay that they've been munching from the same bale perfectly happily earlier on this week. And then as soon as I put it in a different hay net, they decided they didn't want to eat it. And I went, well, we're not throwing that away. This is the bit I like the best, is sweeping. I like to sweep up, get everything back into where it should be in its lines. Because you can see you've done it, can't you? I think that's why I like doing it. In my stables, the mats go to get them to fit, because it's 11.6 by 11.6 for Indy, so that the girls could get a bigger size on their side. And as you know, in the summer, both my girls come in. Reek and Tia generally come in here. The mats go different ways, so you can't swipe. You have to think about how you're going to pick it up, because otherwise it just sits. Dean did it all so it integrated and it fitted properly, and he did it all like that, but I can never remember, because I didn't write it on it, which mats go where, and I've worked it out this year. But even then, when Dean did it, he did it like that. But then he wouldn't have swept it up, you see, and I think that's the difference. Right, let's just get this. I just love this bit. Laura's yard always looks perfect, but then she's a professional groom, wasn't she? So that's early in her first career. She ran a hunt yard. Our farrier said to her, he said, "Why did you give that up then, Laura?" And she went, "Because I never had time to ride my horses." She said, you had to, you're doing all everybody else's horses, you're doing the yard, you're making it all perfect. She said, and you never get the chance. So, nearly done. And I can understand that. You get, and especially when you come home and you're wet, you're smelly already from doing the horses, then you've got yours to do. Right, let's just get this up. This is where I can't get it quite perfect, which upsets me a little bit. But there we go. Not too much. And I'll go and see what the other girls are like. And just pick out any more poo that I may have accidentally brushed into there. As I said, Indy didn't eat a breakfast. She was more interested in going out, so she can have her breakfast because it's got all her supplements in it when she comes in tonight. So I'll just put a cover on that, and that'll be done. And then what I'm doing in here is just turn the lights off in this one. I'll use the water that she had in her water bowl to just soak her hay. There wasn't any left from last night. Right, out you go. Yeah, all right, Tia. Come on, you're in the way, darling. Excuse me, I think you'll find you're in the way. Okay, actually, she did move like a good girl. What's your tail? Oh, what have you done with your tail? Been lying down in the... You look a bit stiff there, darling. Tia's paddock pony, as you know. She's always been a paddock pony. She's 28. Unlike END Eventing's 28-year-old. My girl looks like. But she's never... In this kind of weather, she wouldn't get... Is that your friends out? No, not yet. Laura's probably turned them out in the other fields. But Laura's during the winter. Laura's stables are near her house, so what she does is she takes them all up, and there's a field in front of the stables for her, and they all go in that, and then she'll go down later and put them to bed. So again, they're not in majorly long time. They're not in. I think our horses do quite well, actually. I think they're in about, the max it would be 10 hours. I know lots of horses are in longer than that. I think 10 hours is being a bit generous. I think it's 8 hours ours are actually in, mostly. So, and if it's really cold, we get snow and that, we don't always put them in because it's better for them to be walking about. There we go. Just what I'm doing now is, because the girls, I let the girls in front of the stables during the night, so they can get into their stable and their hay if they want to, stand under cover, or just be with Indy, and then I shut it off again during the day. I hadn't done that last year. I saw another poo then. I hadn't done that last year. They definitely spend time in here because of the poo that I've got. I pick up every day because it made it worse. Just check there's nothing in here. I'd noticed the other day that they'd actually come in, had a wee and gone out, and I thought, why would you do that? Why would you come in, have a wee, and then go and stand out all night in the wet and the rain? And then I thought possibly horse logic is why you would do it. So I'm just gonna, they're all out now, they're right down at the other end of the field. What I will do is what I did yesterday. I will come back later today, just before I ride, well actually after breakfast, come down and ride and poo pick after that. I can tell you that Eek and Tia have eaten their breakfast. They're probably a bit miffed yesterday because I tend to, when it's the evenings and they're coming in, I give them a couple of pony treats to, you're always very good, I take the whole thing back, pony treats to just let them all think it's night time and it's time to come in, which Indy generally enjoys, and so does Eek and Tia. And of course they didn't get that yesterday, so they didn't come down before did it for me, which I know. Oh, they must have been jumping yesterday. She put that up, that's nice to see. What has she done with that one? Anyway, the jumps are up, hopefully we'll be jumping today. It's a bit wet now. We're all doing a bit of flat work first. So I'm nearly done. So the girls are ready, I just need to do the waters. And that's it. Sorry about squeaky voice, not really sure where it's come from. But that's me done. That's half an hour, it's not bad.